KARMAKAST. 91 karmas hosting fights, analyzing data through the night. The sundered islands realm in sight. If you take notes, learning you might. Stones, classes, traits, and what to equip. Strategy melts, combos a hit. Teaching rookies on the streets. Skillabot will give you a hint. KARMAKAST, the greatest show. Hero rising in the swarm. Pixel art, alpha drops. Charting paths and breaking norms. New players gather to learn. Tactics sharp at every turn. Knowledge they all yearn. In the pit, heroes they'll burn. Hosting fights, analyzing data through the night. The sundered islands realm in sight. If you take notes, learning you might. KARMAKAST, the greatest show. Hero rising in the swarm. Pixel art, alpha drops. Charting paths and breaking norms. New players gather to learn. Tactics sharp at every turn. Knowledge they all yearn. In the pit, heroes they'll burn. New players gather to learn. Tactics sharp at every turn. Knowledge they all yearn. In the pit, heroes they'll burn. Karmas hosting fights, analyzing data through the night. The sundered islands realm in sight. If you take notes, learning you might. KARMAKAST, the greatest show. Hero rising in the swarm. Pixel art, alpha drops. Charting paths and breaking norms.
Welcome us everybody to the first episode of 2025 of KARMAKAST. As always with you, your favorite Italian host, 91K. Mythic squad in the building. So, what are we going to do today? First of all, I want to apologize for being a bit out of the live show scene for nearly a month at this point. I've been sick, then I've been on home holiday. Has been quite a long time actually since the last time I've been with you here on YouTube. So what are we going to do today? My plan today is to go through a couple of replays of a couple of games that I had for the JCL, the Jewelers Combat League, against MaxGerin, who's been more than a worthy opponent. I went in that game thinking, okay, today I'm gonna get beaten up so much, and then unexpectedly didn't happen. Unexpectedly, I gotta be honest. And before doing that, I wanted to drop my 2 cents about the current state of the game. I've seen lately a lot of people in several parts of the community, so several Discord servers, so like in the Italian Discord server, in the private servers of the guilds, not being super happy about the direction that the team has taken with the development of patrols instead of focusing on tournaments, rewards, and classes. I agree that classes and tournaments and more rewards for PvP are things that we absolutely need. But beside that, I believe that having a bigger and bigger player base is much more important. waiting for the right moment to push through those tournaments is gonna be game changing for our ecosystem. So honestly, I'm quite happy. Petrol, yes, exactly as Six Intern is saying right now in chat. And also, I take a second to welcome you all, Renpen, Sticks. Welcome to the show. Exactly as Sticks Intern is saying in chat, Petrol is gonna be game changing for us. Having more players means having more of those basic heroes that we keep on the floor, going on and on in the market, getting sold, going around, having more people able to be competitive. Of course, I can't wait for the moment when we have a ladder system where you simply go in, press play, you get an opponent, and simply you collect honor, glory, however they're gonna call it, go higher in the rankings, and at the end of every season you're gonna get rewards. And I'm saying it hoping that those rewards come from Metis, so probably uh, as with Raffles, where you get a certain amount of Metis for participating. If you're lucky, would be really cool getting some Metis just for going high in the ranking of PvP. Honestly, that's my point of view. I know that everybody is entitled to have their points of view. That's absolutely fine. It's super cool. You know what else is super cool? This Mythic Squad hoodie that you can get for yourself from the Mythic Squad Etsy store. I'm gonna pop the link for that in chat in a minute. But let's get down to business. What are we going to do now? Let me simply pop up. No, this closed me. That's not what I wanted to do. I went off. Let me exactly. This is what I wanted to do. Let's see. Yes, you're able to see this replay. So, in order to bring in this replay, what I managed to do this time was filming all of it and then bringing it. Because, as most of you probably know, the replay system is not really working super well at the moment. So, the best way I found to do this is filming everything and then going back through it so that I can stop it when I need it. Also, I believe it's gonna be slightly clunky in a couple of moments, but it is what it is, guys. Let's just be honest. We can't have everything immediately. It's normal having to wait for things to be perfect. So, let me start with this. I believe there's a couple. Okay, here it starts the first match. So I was playing last week against MaxGerin, and as I was saying in the beginning, I was really terrified about this game because I saw some of his matches. I saw his result. Basically, he was winning nearly every game he was getting in. So I was like, okay, maybe this is not gonna go well for me. This first game, he was, but basically, I know I checked his composition. I knew that he was playing two main comps. The first one was double warrior, both of them with an Excalibur, and then Dark Archer with double Giant Slayer, which was already a pretty scary composition. And the second one was made of Priest, Seer, Archer with double Giant Slayer. So he's got two archers with double Giant Slayer, which made me think one major thing. I don't want to get to the third game because the third game is gonna be 100% double archer with double giant slayer each, and that's something I really don't wanna face. Honestly, dealing with double warrior archer or anything, it's fine. I can still make it, but double archer with double giant slayer, really, I don't wanna try it. Okay, so I was really focusing on trying to finish this game before the third match. Um, I tried to guess his composition. I didn't really manage to guess it the way I wanted. But anyway, fair enough. I had this first bout where I was playing my double Giant Slayer Archer, my second life Priest, and my warrior with the super crazy good Excalibur. Um, let's go through the replay. So I have speed pants on my archer, on my archer, so I started the game. So first thing first, as always, I go barrage because I want to try to bring in some damage. He did exactly the same. So the honest answer to that is adding some shield. Now he tried this war cry. I'm stopping so I can explain this. I understand why people try war cry when they're barraging because they want to increase the output damage of barrage. Um, at the same time, war cry is not really effective if it doesn't bring in the nerf on the opponent side. And having barriers everywhere means that war cry is only half effective. Is effective only on the buff that is giving you. Um, okay, good, still good because you're getting a damage buff, but at the same time you're not nerfing the opponent, which is what Warcry technically is supposed to do. As you can see, resist on every of my hero. Then he went in with a Whirlwind. He wanted to take down those shields. Fair enough, makes sense. It's probably the same thing that I would have done at this point. I tried a days here because I wanted to try to stop that barrage. As you can imagine, it didn't go through. Most of my arrows went down on his warrior. 830 damage on the main warrior is not actually bad, especially considering that he's not playing any healer, so he's gonna rely mostly only on the potions. He retaliates with a barrage, and I've been quite lucky here because I blocked it with my warrior because it brought in already 460 damage. So, of course, heal on the whole party from my side. I know that this got a lot of attacks that can get to the to the back line on my team. Then at this point I wanted to try to bring in a repeating shot. Something that could have given me the advantage of taking a kill as soon as possible. So I set it up with a rapid shot, trying to get the most of it. I get a retaliate that misses. And at this point I go down with rapid onslaught, which worked perfectly because I managed to take down his frontline warrior immediately. What did he do here was doing exactly the same thing as me. Considering that my archers are mostly set up on luck, based on luck, while his archer is built with high dexterity, his rapid shot is technically more damaging than mine. Now here I made a mistake, and you can see I tried to go in with repeating shots straight away, and unfortunately it didn't work out for me. How can I fucking close this thing? Okay, basically he remained with 30 HP. This 30 HP really made this game longer than what it was necessary. In the calculation of the damage, of course, I was sure that I was going to make enough damage to kill it, but RNG said no. So, I've got my archer exhausted, not enough HP. What he does, exactly the same move, but he makes enough damage to take down my archer. So now we are back at square one. And what he did, which I actually didn't expect at all, a full health potion, which actually terrified me at this point. At this point, I thought, okay, I've lost. I've lost because of this bullshit, because of 30 HP. Because in my head, I was like, okay, even if he managed to heal, I'm gonna do a whirlwind and the basic attack with the priest, and the archer is gonna go down. Unfortunately, no. So the only thing I could do is trying to bring in some damage, Of course, at this point I was risking the priest, but I was strong of the thought that second life was gonna kick in and save me. And that's why actually at this point I'm not healing the priest directly yet, because I want him. I knew that he used the 9 stones of potions out of 15, that he hasn't got an healer, that the only thing he can do is trying to use mana potions if he wants to attack, or healing potion if he wants to survive. So I said, okay, waste other 30-40 mana to do another repeating shot. And he went exhausted. At this point was the time that I had to heal and keep my heroes alive, because I had the potion vantage at this point. I had the stone vantage. So at this point it was just a matter of making him consume the potions, making him go down as much as possible with the HP in order to force him to heal himself. See, at this point I passed the turn with the healer because I was exhausted, of course, and also because I wanted to have these 2 turns consecutive, because I didn't want to risk him bringing in too much damage altogether, because if he would have taken this warrior, would have been the end. Okay, at this point all of what I had to do was keeping my heroes alive. Even with basic attacks, sooner or later I would have managed to win this game. I get really close with this rapid onslaught, and he's forced to use the potions. And he used 2 potions consecutive, which was actually a risky move, because in this way he's not gonna have enough mana to go ahead. At this point I was afraid, of course. I healed my priest, and I'm keeping up the mana. He's trying to bring in again as much damage as he can, and actually I didn't expect it, but he had enough mana exactly to make another repeating shot, which made me risk a lot. I went really close to die here, but at this point he didn't have any more health potion, he didn't have any more mana potions. It was just a matter of time, because I still had 6 stones to use other 2 mana potions, or eventually in the case he would have managed to bring in a lot of excessive damage, maybe an health potion if needed. But I had the advantage that I could heal, and he didn't have any more mana to keep bringing in damage. So at this point I knew that I had this game in my pocket. And believe me, this is the easy match amongst the two, because the second game was really much more complicated to win. He tried this exhaust, lucky me, it didn't have effect, I blocked it. At this point he was trying to throw at me everything he had, but nothing. I have the advantage of the healing factor that he didn't have anymore in any way. I could even just go in with basic attack all night long. I knew that I had this game in my pocket, even though he had the double giant slayer and a definitely faster hero than mine, because as you can see he was managing to attack twice the time that I was acting once. Also, heroes like archers with high dexterity can block a lot more than what you would have expect. But eventually, as you can see, he went down. So it took around probably 20 minutes, I believe, this game in real life, and was the short game of the two, as you can see from the time bar of this video. So before launching the second one, because today we're having quite of a short stream, Yeah, I needed to pass the turn because I wanted to have the priest able to act because it was exhausted, as you know. When they come back from second life, they're exhausted. Also, I didn't want him to bring him like 700 damage, putting me really in difficulty. I wanted an heal. I didn't want him to have two turns in a row, which is something that I actually learned from Styx intern. So, as you can see, sometimes I learn. Before proceeding to the second of these games, I want to leave a minute for a really, really quick commercial, which is the first commercial of 2025.
Do you dream of financial freedom? Ready to make your mark in the world of cryptocurrency? Look no further than NFAJIMO, the name that's taking the trading world by storm. NFAJIMO, short for not financial advice, just my opinion, isn't your average crypto enthusiast. He's your partner in the ever-changing world of blockchain and digital currencies. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just getting started, Nifajimo's insights are the game changer you need. From understanding market trends to identifying hidden opportunities, he's here to help you make smarter moves in the crypto space. With his years of experience and a passion for empowering others, Nifajimo breaks down the complexity of crypto into clear, actionable tips. It's not about promising the moon. It's about building your path to success. Join the thousands of followers who trust NFAJIMO's guidance to navigate the ups and downs of the market. His philosophy? Invest smart, stay informed, always grow. Your journey to financial freedom starts here. Follow NFAJIMO today for insights, strategies, and the inspiration you need to thrive in the digital economy. NFAJIMO, not financial advice, just smart opinions.
And welcome back. If you're not aware of who this person is, just pop in the Mythic Squad Discord server. You'll find a channel called Psychoanalysis every single day, every single morning. He is there. Non financial advice, just his opinion. Have a look at it, guys. This was kind of a real commercial, being a fake one, to be honest. I had the secondary script of this, but the secondary script was mocking him too much, and I don't think I had the confidence to mock him that much. So I went down for this. Second game. Second game. In the meanwhile, you can see in the chat, I pinned down the Mythic Squad Etsy store link. So, what about this game? He's playing a composition that I'm really afraid of because Seer, Priest, Archer, especially an Archer with double Giant Slayer, it's something you technically have to be really afraid of. Just that I believe he set up several things in a way that I honestly disagree with. So, while it's loading, okay, here we go. So basically, he didn't set up the rapid repeating shot combo, which is quite important for this type of composition, in my opinion, because you want to bring in that super heavy damage that gets buffed by the priest and the seer. You want to do that 1000 damage, one shot, bam, take down somebody instantly. I was playing priest with no particular trait, just an exhaust. I had my archer without any trait, major traits, and I had my warrior with giant slayer. He went in straight away turn one, barrage again. It's exactly what every archer player is doing lately, and I did the same, barrage. I knew that he was going to shield up a lot. Another thing that he didn't have, and I was afraid of, is the Chrono Purge with the Seer. So he wasn't able to take away the barriers from me or the buffs. So I was like, okay, I can take advantage of this. He was really planning on using the Rejuvenation Stone, which eventually he didn't do. even because accidentally, he told me, he didn't set up the right amount of mana potion, which actually costed him the game. So what was my strategy for this game? I had to make him run out of mana. He's got only one hero capable of dealing damage. I had to do something for that. I had to make sure that the damage that sooner or later he had to choose the healer, the buffs, or the damage. One of them, not all of them. So making him consume mana was absolutely important here. So I was keeping using NAF, keeping using basic attacks, stuff that don't consume my mana at all. And I was keeping healing. If needed, healing potion. At this point I was still trying to push for some damage, not to take down his heroes, but to force him to use the mana to heal them. Because, of course, consider that he is using Sanctuary and at the same time Divine Barrier, Holy Circle. It's a lot of HP. It's a lot of heal. You can keep up with that, basically. So, this game is actually long. I'm sorry about it, but this game is actually long. As you can see, I'm trying to basic attack while he's throwing at me every single skill that the archer has. He does barrage, sharpshooter, constantly. And I was just trying to bring in damage where possible in order to scare him and force him to have to use the heal. As you can see, again, healing. This barrage didn't really have any strong effect. 350 damage on the archer, but everything else just removed the barriers. He was keeping pushing these barriers. And then he was using this clairvoyance because he wanted to add piercing and save some mana on the skill of the archer. And then he's gonna go in with prayer on might, so he adds more damage on the archer skill. Of course, if one of these barrages would have randomly hit altogether one single of my heroes, I would have lost the game there and then. As you can understand. Here, as you can see, 850 damage on my warrior. Straight away, I'm lucky that this guy has got more than 1200 HP, otherwise I would have lost it. And I'm lucky that he didn't manage to bring in the poison here. But again, I had the advantage of having set up the potions correctly. He didn't. I was fine even ending getting to the point where I had to do only basic attacks while he had to because my basic attacks would have been better than his ones anyway, because with the seer and the priest he wouldn't have gone that far, while I had the warrior front line with giant slayer with that means that sooner or later I'm gonna deal more damage than you. He's keeping healing. Was really a never-ending game. I was at this point with 0 potions. I tried to take down the shields. He was starting to run out of mana. He used already a couple of potions at this point. I just try to keep my heroes as healthy as I can. This was another mistake, to make an example, using prayer of might so constantly. I understand that it's gonna increase the damage that you do, but it costs a lot and you're running out of mana. Again, he had to use another mana vial here. But then I have 3 turns in a row, which means that I technically am gonna recover from all the damage that he brought in. I used the last potion that I could. Again, my archer is back as new. At this point I start to try to take away from him the last bits of mana, and I start to apply some nerfs. He tried again with the poison blade twice in a game. It didn't work. This was really a huge luck from me. I tried to go barrage because at this point I wanted to take away the barriers from him so that I could have started putting in some nerfs. Ghost damage. Okay, now he's got one hero without the barrier. Now he's got 2 heroes without the barrier, and the seer starts to get wounded. Now he still has got the priest in the center, the possibility of healing, and he went again prayer on might, which again I believe was quite of a mistake. He was really aiming at dealing damage with barrage, but it's too random. You can predict where all the arrows are gonna fall. Yes, you can do the ultra kill with 6 arrows on one guy, but how many times that can happen? Let's be honest. So at this point I try to put some damage, because I knew he had to be out of potions at this point. Now, why I used blinding winds on this here and not on the archer? Because this archer had the talisman with increased percentage of precision, which means that giving it a nerf like less precision when it's anyway over 100 is not gonna change that much the game. But blinding the seer means that his heals might reduce the amount of health that they recover, and that worst on might fail. Same thing. At this point I knew that he didn't have that many potions. I had to bring in that poison because it could have been devastating if he wouldn't have stopped. We all know how poison works, how deadly poison is. So at this point he's got a hero bleeding and blinded, BMB, and another hero poisoned, and he's running out of potions. He's starting to take the damage from the poison. I didn't have any more mana at this point. I had to nuff. I had to avoid getting damage with the archer. And at the same time, at this point, I put in the exhaust that miraculously worked and stopped this barrage. So at this point, he had, again, still the seer blinded and bleeding, and the archer exhausted and poisoned. No more mana. I was starting, as I said, I was starting to crypto dreaming him, because I was finally I managed to make him exhaust all the resources that he had. I just had to bring in more damage than him, which was fairly easy considering I had a warrior and he didn't. As you can see now, all of what he can do is basic attacks, which worked in his favor at a certain point because he managed to confuse me using the chicken leg, but chicken leg, demon drumstick. Basically I wanted to take him for exhaustion. He had the cleanse that I didn't expect, so he managed to recover from that poison. Fair enough. it did what it had to do. Some damage, some pressure on him. Just wanted to keep him occupied, basically. So the chicken leg has got really a low percentage of confusing an opponent, like between 5 and 9% or 5 and 10%, depends from how rare the chicken leg is. But still, over like 10 attacks, sooner or later, one is gonna get in and is gonna confuse you, which is something unreliable, of course. But when it happens, it really works in your favor, I believe. But still, at this point, I still had the possibility of healing, and he didn't have any more mana. So he tried his last War Stone, which missed, of course, because the guy is blinded. And from this point on, it's just a matter of time. I knew that at this point it was just a matter of time. I could keep healing, he couldn't keep up with the damage that I was dealing. He focused all of the damage that he can do on one single hero. I could even spread mine, but I really wanted to get rid of that Syrian front at this point, because I couldn't reach the archer with my warrior, of course. So there was no point in trying to attack the archer with my archer without skills, because I didn't have any more mana at this point. But at least removing the seer meant less damage coming my way. Basic attacks even with the priest, just to make it quicker, in brackets quicker, because at this point we were already at 25-30 minutes of game, I believe, and the series down. So I'm numerically in advantage at this point. All of what he can do is keeping pushing these basic attacks. Now let's not watch 10 minutes of basic attacks, basically. Let's try to go a bit faster. I simply kept pushing for basic attacks on the priest. I got rid of it. Then I started, of course, damaging this archer. This point, I believe this is basically last turn. Yes. At this point, I was like, okay, I gotta win this game sticks intern style. So I channeled the explosion. This has been quite actually a moment of glory for me. Was enough damage, and then that explosion took the archer in the end. Actually, 200 damage with explosion is not even bad, I gotta be honest with you. So what can I say about these games? Hey Markuki, welcome. What the fuck? No, it's funny. Yes, explosion. Yes, Sticks. I gotta be honest with you. When that happened and the explosion started, I was there yelling, "Sticks in 10!" And then the explosion came down. I was really, I had a lot of fun in using that explosion, honestly. I gotta be honest with you. It's been super funny and it reminded me of you so much. Sounded like, I told you, sounded like a whoever Leroy Jenkins in that moment. I really didn't want to mock him with the explosion, but was really the only right moment I found to use the trait ever, most likely. But I can see that with heroes like warriors, maybe warriors with an Excalibur or a Gore Axe, a Berserker, high strength, or probably in the future we will see that Dread Knights and stuff like that, Dark Knights, all these heroes with high strength, probably explosion can make sense. But simply in this case was really funny to use and was really a cool moment to live. So what's the takeaway for this bout? Sometimes you have to play, as I used to say, joking, of course, Crypto Dream style. You have to play a way where you in a way where you try to make the opponent exhaust his resources, skills, mana, potions, and get to the point where you still have got something and they got nothing. We always used to think about the trade of heroes, like I kill your hero and then you kill one of mine, we are 2v2, or having the advantage of getting 3 versus 2. Yes, that's a way of getting advantage, but even getting to the point where you still have got something to do and your opponent hasn't, is limited to basic attacks, no heals, no potions, there you have a great advantage. And sometimes, yes, it's not funny. At least it's not funny until you get to the explosion in the end, because it's of course a stressful kind of game that can get quite boring for some people. But at the same time, I believe when you're playing on a competitive level and you actually want to win that game, because as I said in the beginning, I didn't want to get to the third game in this in this match. I really didn't want to get to the point that he was going to use 2 double giant slayer archer on me. So I would have had to play double priest warrior or something like that, just to avoid dying straight away. But yes, getting advantages, that's the main goal of a competitive gameplay. Getting to the point where you can do things and your opponent can't. And these were the 2 bouts that I played against MaxGerin. Once again, it has been really, really challenging. Now we've seen the replays. It took like, half hour to watch both replays, with me stopping them sometimes. But the actual game lasted, I believe, like an hour and a half in total. So you can imagine that has been quite stressful, when you have to think about every single move when it's needed. That said, guys, as I told you, quick episode today of KARMAKAST just to get back into the show. I'm glad that you have been here with me. Down in the description of the video, there is the donate tree link if you want to jump on it and donate something. Also remember to like and subscribe to this video and the 91 Karma's Mythic Squad page. For those of you who don't know, Sticks Intern, I'm talking to you. The Magic tournament is coming. It's gonna start really soon in the next weeks. I'm gonna participate with my teammates TJ and Okage. We're really planning something great. It really secret. Nobody knows we're talking about it, but we're talking about it. There's a lot of cool stuff that is gonna come there. We're gonna stream most likely the battles. Thanks, Sticks Intern, for taking the time to organize it. I tried to follow the live show today, but there was the music in the background of the game that was covering your voice. We're trying to think about a team name, but the team name is the last thing after the strategy, after the team strategy. First we think about that, then we think about the team name. But that said, guys, thank you for being with me for these 45 minutes. I believe it's time to wrap up for today. I'm gonna most likely be with you once again next week. Hopefully we will have Patrol, and we will be able to talk about something cool new, which, as I said, I believe is gonna be game changing for the DeFi Kingdom ecosystem. Don't listen to people who complain about that. Patrol is gonna be big. Ah, okay, you need it for the graphics. Okay. Hokage is coming up with something. He already told me that he was really thinking about it. He's gonna come up with something. Guys, that said, thanks again. And as always, Karma's out.
With this squad, united by a bond, there's no corner of the kingdom where we won't reach. no opponent safe. With Mythic Squad, better run and go hide in a cave. Ultra's got the best pets on the roads every lane. People will hunt you down with this Mythic trade. You know winning is our thing with Skeleton King. Every rapper we win, step with us in the ring. Step with us in the ring. Mythic Squad, we will never be banned. Not from a bomb side or any mountain. Mythic Squad, every hero's on quest. Step aside, oh my friend, you will have to repent. Mythic Squad, we will never be banned. Not from a bomb side or any project. Mythic Squad, every hero's on quest. Step aside, oh my friend, you will have to repent. I'm with Moss in the pit, selling ghouls like PNC. Rod tossed off bus G's, we're the kings of the seven seas. With this squad, we will fly high with the wings of a dragonfly. Mr. Return gives us powers, meet us up in the office hours. 100 bucks when it's made, Mythic swords in my hands, 91K. Thoughts guide us through the stages while we summon mythic sages. Dark nights, spellbound, crazy. Mythic Squad will remain for the ages. Mythic Squad!